Hey everyone, welcome back. Okay, so today we're going to move on to Unit 9, Lesson 2, which is finding the base and the y-intercept of exponential functions. We're going to do this from an equation, from a graph, and from tables, okay? So first, let's review our equations. So exponential equations look like y, this is not writing, we are not writing. If that worked. Y equals AB to the power of X. So we said yesterday that A is the y-intercept. And then today we're going to call B, we're going to use this term here, is going to be our base. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to identify A and B on all of these. So if we're given an equation, this is pretty easy, right? So we have A times B to the power of X. So we have A times B to the power of X. B is the thing that's being raised to the exponent with X in the exponent, okay? So here A is 4, B is 6. Then we have A times B to the power of X. So A is 2, B is 1/3. Here it becomes a little bit more complicated because all we have is something raised to the power of the X. So what number do we understand is there in front? What number can we multiply by in the front that we don't have to see? We don't have to write it. We understand there's a 1 there. So here A is 1 and B is 5. Okay? So now looking at our graph, our A value is our y-intercept. So that's where we cross the y-axis. So here my A value is 1. So that means my equation would look like y equals 1 times, and we got to figure out our B value. So to figure out our B value, we're going to use our calculator. We're going to do regression. So first, let's write down some points to be able to put in our calculator. So I have this first point, I have my y-intercept, which is 0, 1. And then I'm going to pick a second point. So I have this other point here, which is 1, 3. I'm going to use these 2 points. So in my calculator, we'll do stat. We've done this twice before, so stat edit. And we're going to put that table in. Remember, our x values go in L1, y values go in L2. So we're going to put 0, enter, 1, enter. Then arrow over and do 1, enter, 3, enter. We're going to do stat, go over to calc. Now, instead of we've done linear regression, we've done quadratic regression, we're going to keep going down to exponential regression. Exponential regression. So you're going to go all the way down to 0 and hit enter. Go all the way down to calculate and hit enter again. Remember, you have these calculators on your Chromebooks, okay? So you need to open it up on your Chromebook. So my A value is 1, my B value is 3. So I would write this equation as 1 times 3 to the power of x. Remember, I don't have to write that 1. So we can just write this as 3 to the power of x. Okay? So then we can come down here. I want to look at these other 2 tables first. I'm going to skip these really quick. We're going to come down here. So again, my y-intercept here is where we cross the y-axis. That's going to be 1. And then I'm going to set up a table, x, y. So I have 0, 1. And then I have another point at -1, 2. So I'm going to put this in my calculator. Do second plus 712 to clear out your calculator. And we're going to go stat. Let's go. Come on. Stat. Enter for edit. We're going to put L1 in, our x values in L1. So I have 0 and -1. Remember, use the negative sign at the bottom of your calculator. Don't use the subtraction sign. And then 1 and 2. We're going to do stat. Go over to calc. Get all the way down to 0. Oh, I went too far. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. All the way down to 0 for exponential regression. down to calculate, and it tells me my b value is 0.5. I'm going to write that as a fraction. 0.5 is the same thing as 1/2. So my equation would look like y equals 1 times 1/2 to the power of x, which we can just write as 1/2 to the power of x. Okay? I'm going to let you guys do number 10. So as you can imagine, we're going to use exponential regression for all of these tables. So we set up tables already from our graphs. We're going to use the same thing to find the equations of these tables. Okay? Let me drag this over just a little bit so we can see. Oh, it won't let me. There we go. All right, so I'm going to clear out my calculator. Second plus 712. And we're going to write an equation. So I'm going to do stat. I'm going to do edit. L1, my x values go in L1. So -1, 0, 1, 2. My y values go in L2. So I'm going to do 1 divided by 5, 1, 5, and 25. And then we're going to stat, go over to calc, down to 0, and hit enter. I'm going to go down to calculate and hit enter again. So my a value here is 1. My b value is 5. So my equation for this would look like y equals 5 to the power of x. I'm going to go ahead and do number 6 with you. So second plus 712. We're going to do stat, and calc is very repetitive, right? Do the same thing over and over. So stat and calc, or stat and edit. It will let me do it. Come on. Stat, edit. We're going to put my x values in L1, my y values in L2. So -1, 0, 1, 2, and whoops, I forgot 1. 1, 2, and that's it. Clear. Delete. All right, I'm going to go over to L2. Jeez, I'm having a hard time there. And we have 2 divided by 3, 2, 6, and 18. I want to point out here, I just noticed that it's going to convert it to its decimal form, okay? So that's okay. Just leave it. Just keep going with it. All right, then we're going to go stat, go over to calc. We're going to go all the way down to 0 for exponential regression and hit enter. Go down to calculate and hit enter again. Here my a value is 2, my b value is 3. So my equation would be y equals 2 times 3 to the power of x. Okay, 2 times 3 to the power of x. It has not been showing you all this stuff. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, did I not? What the heck? It is connected. Let me try again. Let me reconnect. Sorry, guys. Nope. Oh. Yeah. All right, so my first equation would have been y equals 5 to the power of x. My second equation here is y equals 2 times 3 to the power of x, okay? So I'm going to leave those other two for y'all to do. I want to point out one thing really quick here on my graph number 10. My y-intercept here is at 2. So don't always assume that your y-intercept is 1, okay? My y-intercept is 2. Then you could create your table, do exponential regression, okay? So the next thing you're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And I'm going to close this out. The next thing you're going to do is the asymptotes matching. This is a Google Slides again. So go ahead and open this up in another screen. And you can use, you might want to use your calculator if you're given a graph or a table, but you're going to match these, okay? So let me zoom in a little bit. The Wi-Fi is being very slow today. Okay, so you have here you want to identify your y-intercept and your asymptote. So your y-intercept is the a value. So here we understand it's a 1. So you're going to look at these graphs down here. Your y-intercept is going to cross at 1. So any of these, that's not it, right? This is not it. This is not it. This is not it. This one crosses at 1. That one's not it. And that one's not it. So you're down to this graph and this graph. So these two graphs, they cross at 1. And we also know that it's positive 4, which means it's going to show growth. So that means I can eliminate this one, and this one has to be my equation. But you could pick 2 points here. This is maybe how I would do it if I were you. Pick 2 points from your graphs, put them in exponential regression on the calculator. So do stat edit, put your 2 points in, and come up with the equation, and then just bring it back to wherever the equation's at, okay? All right, so then we can identify here our asymptotes. So for these equations, our asymptotes, like this one here, my asymptote's going to be y equals 0. But this one where it's getting closer and closer, but it's never going to cross that line, is that y equals 4. Okay, so it's never going to cross that y equals 4. This one's never going to cross it, that y equals -3. Okay, so let me do one of these with you. Let's do this one right here. Let me get a screen up here. Okay. So let's go ahead and pick 2 points from this table, or from this graph. We have x and y. My y-intercept is at 0, 3, so I'm going to choose that point. And then right here, that's that point. And then I have another pretty point right here. Let's choose this one. So this is -2, 0. We can put this in our calculator. Sorry, I shouldn't have closed that out. No, that's not what I wanted. Clear. I'm going to do second plus 7, 1, 2 to clear out my calculator. Okay, then we can do stat, edit, L1, I'm going to put my x's, so 0 and -2. L2, I'm going to put my y's, so 3 and 0. And then stat, go over to calc. We're going to go all the way down to exponential regression and hit enter. Go down to calculate and hit enter again. Why is it? Okay. Not each. Oh, y'all. Okay, I'm so crazy. I don't know why I'm trying to tell you to do it this way. Let's use Desmos. Y'all, okay, I'm losing my mind. Just bear with me. This is what happens if you are in class with me. Sometimes I just go crazy, okay? So go to Desmos. Make sure you use the Desmos from Canvas, the testing mode Desmos. And this is how you're going to want to do this. Take your equation, f of x equals 4 to the power of x. So you're going to want to type this in. F of x equals 4. You can do shift 6 to get the x up there, or you can type in 4, use this little keyboard, hit the, no, x squared just changed to an x, okay? So this is what your graph's going to look like. You're going to cross the y-axis at 1. Your asymptote, you're never going to cross y equals 0. Okay, so you're going to want a graph match. So now come down here and find the graph that matches that, which again was this one. Okay, so then go to the next one. Here, let's come down here. Let's choose one of these other ones. So 3x plus 2. So on Desmos, I'm going to type in 3 to the power of x, and then we have plus 2. So this changes. My y-intercept is now 3. And the line I'm getting really, really close to, but I'm never going to cross, is 2. So that's what I'm looking for. My asymptote is at y equals 2. And I can type that in, y equals 2, and see. It's going to get really, really close. But if I keep zooming in on this, it's never going to actually touch it. There's always going to be a space. No matter how far out I go, if I zoom in, there's going to be a little tiny space, no matter where I'm at on this line. Okay, so that's what my asymptote is telling me. Okay, so you can see that. Let me hit my home button here. You can see that it's going to get really, really close to 2, but it's never going to actually touch that line. Okay, so then I can come down here and say we're going to cross at y equals 3. Here we go, and it's getting really, really close to 2, so that would be the graph for that equation. Okay, use Desmos. Don't use a calculator on this. Use Desmos. Type your equation in Desmos, match it to the one you have. Make sure you come back to Canvas and hit your blue submit button that you see on your screen. All right? If y'all need questions, let me know. Talk to you later.